Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Jets, and I'm here to talk about week 18 of the regular season, where the Jets win 17-3 over the New England Patriots and finish their season with a win that puts them at 7-10 on the year. Their second consecutive 7-10 season, because I guess consistency is key. And for the first time in just shy of 3,000 days, the Jets beat the New England Patriots. The last time the Jets won a game against the New England Patriots was in 2015. And I just need you to understand that that is a real number. It was 2015. And it was Ryan Fitzpatrick, Chris Ivory, Eric Decker, and Brandon Marshall leading the charge offensively, with a defense led by a rookie. Oh, shoot, I can't even think of his name. Leonard Williams. Gee willikers, that was tough. A linebacking core centered by Demario Davis and a elite corner duo of Antonio Cromartie and Darrelle Revis. So I guess at least that stayed the same. And that improved their season to 10-5, where if they won against the Bills in Week 17, they would advance to the playoffs. They didn't do that. And I say all of that to remind you that it's been a long, long, long time since the Jets beat the Patriots. I'm not even wearing my Jets jersey. What am I doing? I've had the sweater on all day because it's a cold day in Florida. It's like 60 degrees outside, but that's cold to me, all right? Give me a break. And honestly, that's perfect. That's so perfect. I couldn't, and I know I couldn't because I tried, I couldn't have written a better introduction to this final episode of the year than that. That is the mentality of the Jets fans right now. So mentally just gone. To the point where I forgot I wasn't even wearing a jersey. I've never done that. Over 1,000 videos that I've made for the Jets, Rangers, and Astros, I've never just recorded the first minute or two of a video before realizing I'm not even wearing the appropriate attire. It's perfect. Because by all accounts, this should have been a magical day for Jets fans. It should have been. They go into Foxborough. They're favorited by a lot of people. The Patriots have looked dead on arrival for weeks now. It's very possibly the last game of Bill Belichick as a coach in New England. It was a snow game, and the Jets absolutely mopped them. I know that it was not 17-3 the entire time, and they got a touchdown on the final minute or so of the game. But it never felt like the Patriots could do anything. The Jets defense smothered them. It was an even better showing by the defense than last season in Foxborough. Side note, the Jets defense has allowed 6 total points in the last 2 games in Foxborough. That's a really funny statistic. And I do mean the defense itself, not counting the special team. But the defense was smothering. The D-line ate them alive. The corners were all over the place. I thought DJ Reed specifically looked fantastic. By all accounts, it's a game. And then in the final, here's the thing. And then in the fourth quarter, right? The Jets, they got him. It wasn't just it's been a long time, but I've watched the Jets beat the Patriots. I've watched it a couple of times. I watched it in the playoffs back in 2010-11. Watched it a couple times after that. I vividly can remember every single play of the Jets beating them in 2015. I've seen it happen. It's rare. It doesn't happen often, and it hasn't happened in 8 years. But I've seen it. I have never, in my life as a Jets fan, watched the Jets rattle Bill Belichick. And he was. There was some after-play shenanigans between Quincy Williams and, I forget his first name, but Brown on the Patriots, I believe 86. After play shenanigans, they were getting up in each other's face. And the Jets play later. The Patriots target him. They go in for a hard hit. They're giving him grief afterwards. There's a flag thrown, but they pick it up, and Belichick was livid. I've watched the Jets beat the Patriots. I've never watched them mentally beat Bill Belichick. And then in the final minutes of the game was over. It was sealed for the Jets. and you could hear the Jets fans in attendance in Foxborough with a Jets chant. And it should have been, God, it could have been this incredible, iconic moment for the franchise. And it just was a game. It's cool that the streak is over. That has been a monkey on the Jets' back clearly for a long time. That's neat and well and good, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy that the team and the staff can at least cap off the season with a win and not, losing 7 in a row to finish the year like last season. That's a good thing. I think it's especially good following last week when the defense was just absolutely eaten alive to come back and have a very dominating game to finish off the season. I think that's going to feel good for the defensive side of the locker room, who needed a feel-good game to end the season, given the fact that they were the only reason they won any of the first 4 games. So that's good. There are good things, and I know that rationally I should be happy for the good things. But at the end of it, it's just, you can change the flavor, you can change the team that it's against, you can change the color, you can change the weather conditions, you can change the date on the calendar. It's another meaningless Week 18, Week 17 game. It's just another game that all it affects is draft position. Good things happen player development-wise. Garrett Wilson looked great again. Breece Hall, I genuinely think, took a step forward, especially down the stretch. And, with the change of offensive line, Joe Tippmann's going to be fantastic next year. That's a great second-round pickup by the Jets. The defense, obviously, Sauce. I mean, there wasn't much more of a step forward he could take, but he continued to build off of that incredible rookie season. Jermaine Johnson might be the most improved player in the NFL, just point blank. He had a monster year. And I'm sure that I'm being biased. I don't care. He had a monster season. Quinnen Williams, the numbers might not say it, but he had another fantastic season. Bryce Huff took a massive step forward. You've got to pay that guy. He has got to come back. You had a lot of good individual players take a very important step forward. And you did have good things come of the season. But, and this is where I want to be happy, but I've got to keep it grounded here. This is year 3 of Robert Saleh and year 4 to 5, depending on how you want to look at it, of Joe Douglas. And we are so far past the platitudes of moral victories. We are so far beyond that. You're in year 4 to 5, maybe 6, depending on how you really want to look at it. Maybe year 3 if you want to look at it like Saleh. It really depends on who you think is the figurehead. Do you think it's Saleh that you started with, or is it Douglas? 3 to 5 of the rebuild. That's what I'm trying to say. And you are still short a second elite receiver, which we can kind of see if you look around the league. You need 2 really, really, really good receivers, because if you look at a lot of the playoff teams, there are obviously some exceptions, but if you look at a lot of playoff teams, it's a pair of really good receivers and not just one elite one. So you've got to get another receiver in the offseason. You're short of that. You're going to be short a second running back because Izzy Abanikanda is not it. You're going to need at least 3, probably 3 new offensive linemen. And that's not to get into the play calling issue. You're still a ways away from legitimately competing. And that's just 3 starting linemen. Clearly you need depth. That's the biggest thing for the offseason for the Jets. It's not just getting a couple of really good offensive linemen. It's getting the depth so that when the injuries come, because you have been given more than enough evidence over the past few years that the injuries are going to come, you can withstand the storm. Because you look around the league at other either rebuilds or teams, they weathered the storm. Look at the playoff teams. They can weather the storm of injuries. The Jets couldn't, and they're not in the playoffs. But to touch on the rebuild, because that's the point I was building to. The Bengals killed it a while ago, and I know that a lot of you are those, so this is for you guys. Texans just murdered it. The Texans drove a stake through the heart of the 4-year rebuild. They were garbage last season. They're in a playoff spot now. They're going to host a playoff game next Sunday or Saturday, whenever it is. They're going to host a playoff game. And I don't want to hear about what happened in the division or how the Jags fell off or who they went against. I don't care. They went out and beat the opponents they had to beat, and they put themselves in a position to host a playoff game. That's the bottom line. Like, I am a nerd. I look at a lot of statistics, and I care a lot about what things say on paper, but paper and theory only takes you so far. You've got to show it on the field. The Jets, to this point, have not shown it on the field. They have given us endless next years. And I can say confidently, next year is legitimately the final go. If they can't make the playoffs next year, this franchise gets cleaned out. Regardless of injuries, regardless of anything that happens, regression, anything, this team is absolutely on a playoff mandate unless they just completely throw a curveball and fire Douglas and Saleh in the offseason. I don't think that'll happen. I think they're going to get another shot of it. But next year, it is a playoff or the franchise gets nuked season. So Douglas and Saleh will have an offseason, a free agency, a draft, to ensure that they can keep Aaron Rodgers healthy and supply him with the talent and tools around him to end the discussion of next season. But as for right now, and this season, I think I can close the book. I really hope. I just hope next season is the actual season that they do anything. Anything at all. That's just... And so for a final time, next season, man. Just wait till next season. But as for this one, that's it. So, to all of you who've watched any or all of the recaps, reactions from this season, thank you for another season of me screaming about my favorite silly little goofy football team. I am sure when the draft picks are made, when free agency players are signed, I will come back and talk about it for the Jets, but for now, that is all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video or the season, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Jets.